Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and I talk a lot on my channel about dating and relationships, but one thing I haven't really covered is friendships, and I think those are equally as important as every other relationship in your life. So today I'm gonna go over how to make new friends, how to put yourself out there, and how to make sure that you guys have some healthy relationships and friendships in your life. The people that you choose to surround yourself with are crucial to your personal development and your self-growth as a human. So I do think having the right people in your corner is something that is incredibly important, and I want all of you guys to experience. So today I'm going to be going over how to make new friends and also share some personal experiences that I've had recently and just in general that you guys might be able to relate to. I'm 25, so I'm in this really weird stage of life where everyone in my life is kind of doing different things. All my friends are in kind of different stages. Some of them are single, some of them are dating, some are married, some have kids. Like, it really is all over the map. So it's kind of an odd situation to be in. You know, this is a stage in life where everyone gets very busy. I think after college, things really change, or when you get like a real job or something like that. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that as well. And I think there's this weird stage in life when you start to kind of drift away from some of the older relationships and friendships that you might have had, and you start to make some new ones. So I think sometimes if you're drifting away from older friendships or you're holding on to things that aren't meant for you anymore, it can be really scary and sad, especially if you aren't putting yourself out there and making new friends, because you don't want to be lonely. So before I get into how to make new friends, I also wanted to touch on the fact that some friendships end and people grow apart, and that is totally normal and something that I think all of us will experience at least once in our lives. I feel like when I was going through this, I felt very sad because I didn't realize how normal this is. There's a study that was done that says we replace half of our friendships every 7 years. So when I thought back 7 years ago to 2014, I am still friends with about half the people I was friends with at that point. So it makes total sense. Not every friendship is meant for the duration of your entire life. I think sometimes people are just meant to be people in your life for different seasons and parts of your life, and not for the entire duration of your life. So it's very normal to have a friendship that ends. I know sometimes it's very sad and it can feel almost like a breakup. If you guys have never gone through a breakup but you've drifted away from a friend, it feels just like that. So understand that it's normal. Change is a given. When I was in high school, I had a group of friends, and then we all went different places. None of us really went to the same place, so you drift apart from people there. And then you go to college, and then after college, you all move to new cities. I think I'm like the only one from my group of friends that stayed in Cleveland, so all my friends moved away, and I only get to see them like once a year, once every year and a half. They all live pretty far away. So it's something that is a big adjustment, but something that is very normal as life changes and you get busy. Whether it's friends moving to new cities or new things in your life, a new job, or simply just outgrowing people, it's a really crucial part of life, and change is always going to happen, and it's very normal and happens to pretty much everybody. Honestly, one of the things that's even worse than a friendship ending is trying to force and put so much effort into a friendship that is no longer there or no longer meant to be. I think it's just very normal that sometimes we drift apart and we want to cling on to that person sometimes so bad that we force things or we try too hard, and it's just not reciprocated or not there in general. So that's a really bad feeling too. I have definitely been through that, trying to hold on to relationships and friendships that just are not for me anymore, whether it be that we are just very different now because we've both changed and grown and all of those good things. There are so many different reasons why people drift apart or are no longer really friends anymore, but I think one of the worst feelings in the world is trying to force it. So a piece of advice I have for all of you, if you're currently in this situation and you find yourself trying to force yourself somewhere where you no longer feel like you fit, it's totally okay to move on from it and to walk away and to accept the fact that sometimes we just grow apart, and that is totally normal. So after I share how to make new friends, I'm going to share a little bit of a vulnerable personal story with all of you that I think will be relatable for a lot of you, and hearing kind of my experience might be relatable for you or make you feel a little bit better about your situation, so that you understand that you are not alone in sometimes feeling a little bit lonely. So you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, now how the heck do I make some new friends? So right now I'm going to go over some of the best ways to meet people that I've experienced that I think would be really beneficial for all of you. Number one, we have put yourself out there. So say you're on Instagram and you see someone that lives in your city somebody that has similar interests as you. Don't be afraid to just reach out and message them and see what kind of connection you can make there. The worst thing that can happen is they won't reply to you, and at least you can say that you tried and reached out. There is absolutely no harm in putting yourself out there and reaching out to people. Even if they don't respond, it doesn't hurt to put yourself out there or make an introduction. You never know what might come from it. I've actually made a couple new friends by doing this, by either me messaging them or them messaging me, and it's been a great way for me to get to know people in my city and that are local to me. So I would highly encourage all of you to do this. It really is just one of the easiest ways. With the internet now, you can meet so many people that you wouldn't normally meet on a daily basis, so I highly recommend trying this one. And I will say this, networking is incredible. By just sending someone a message on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever the heck it is, you have social media at your fingertips, you have the world at your fingertips, and you never know who you will meet by just making a simple introduction, because you could introduce yourself to one person and then that person can introduce you to someone else. This has happened to me recently, and I have landed myself in some situations where I never even dreamed I would be. So definitely don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I promise all the good things will come from it. And that leads me into my next point, which is comfort zone, be gone. Again, as an introvert, this is something that I struggle with incredibly. Anytime someone used to reach out to me to do an interview, I would be like, oh my God, I cannot go and talk on someone else's platform, or I cannot be in another person's video. Like, I would just freeze up and shut down because I had this irrational fear of putting myself out there and getting out of my comfort zone. And let me tell you something. The first interview that I agreed to do was Hafiz from The Roommates. I went on The Roommates, I got a ton of new subscribers, I made a bunch of amazing connections, and it was just the greatest thing for me in my career. I just want you to see that one small decision that you could make that is out of your comfort zone could change the entire trajectory of your life, your career, your relationships, whatever the heck it is. So get out of your comfort zone and don't be afraid to say hi or talk to people. It's not always going to lead to new friendships, but it doesn't hurt to at least try. So say, for example, you go to a local coffee shop to do work on your laptop and you see the same people in there all the time. Don't be afraid to make a connection. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. If you're someone that would just go and not talk to anybody and sit in the corner, don't be afraid to say hi. They might be doing work, but also if you see this person all the time, you could just happen to make a new friend that already does things that you like to do anyway. So it doesn't hurt to just make the connection. Of course, read people's body language and understand that sometimes, they might be in the zone and not necessarily in the mood to talk for an hour. But again, it doesn't hurt to just push yourself out of your comfort zone and make an introduction or say hi. And lastly, for number 3, this one is probably the best one on this list, and that is to join a club or some sort of group. So whether this be online or in person, this is probably the best and easiest way to make new friends. Meeting new people through hobbies or shared interests is seriously the easiest place to meet people, and they already like things that you like, so you already have common ground and things to talk about. And normally when people like the same things, you can easily have a conversation because you already have something in common and you know that already about each other, and it can kind of just flow naturally and be really easy to talk to new people. So if you're someone who struggles with that, this is a really great way to meet people, romantic or just regular friendships too. If you go to a weekly workout class, instead of not talking to anybody the whole time, say hi to people, introduce yourself, talk to people. It's really not that hard, and I guarantee you will make a new friend. I went to Orange Theory and I did this and I made some new friends, and it was great for me. So I highly recommend all of you to try it. Regardless of what your interests or your hobbies are, there are people out there that have the same ones as you, and I guarantee there is an in-person group or an online group already for it, probably for your specific area as well. There are a ton of groups you can join now online and in person, so I would highly recommend all of you try that. Again, this is the easiest way, without a doubt, to meet a new friend. I know a lot of you guys focus on how to get girls and I want a relationship, and while I think that's great and I will always help you guys do that, I do think people underestimate the power of friendships and how important that is for you and your life as well. Okay, now I'm going to share my little personal story that I promised you I would at the beginning. So a couple weeks ago, I was sitting in my room and I was working, and all of a sudden I just started to feel very lonely. And I have no reason to be lonely. I have almost 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have amazing friends in my life, an amazing family, an amazing partner. So if you guys don't know, I'm originally from Cincinnati, and then I went to college at Kent State in Cleveland. So a couple of my very, very close friends, like my dearest friends, still live in Cincinnati, and so I only get to see them probably 1 or 2 times a year, just because it's like a 4-hour drive and they're very busy and I'm very busy. And so I started to feel really sad about missing them. And then when I went to college, the few friends that I made in college all moved away. So again, I'm stuck here. I'm the only one in Cleveland. My other friend is in Pittsburgh. Another one is in Charlotte. So they're all kind of scattered around. And I started to feel very sad because I think, being able to talk on the phone or FaceTime or text is great, but a lot of times I will find myself feeling kind of lonely and missing that in-person friendship. And I'm not someone that really likes to go out and do things. The few friends that I have are also kind of like that, and we're fine texting and talking on the phone, but I do miss those like in-person friendships. So I thought to myself, okay, Courtney, you've made some new friends here in Cleveland. Why don't you ask them to hang out with you? And this is something that I really struggle with. Again, as an introvert, I like my alone time. I really don't like to go out and do things. But the past couple weeks, I have really made an effort to hang out with people in person, and it has made a huge difference in the way that I feel. I think I was underestimating, again, the power of friendships and the power of being around people. As humans, we crave connection with other humans, and I think sometimes when this is lacking, it can sometimes make us feel a little bit sad. So I was getting so caught up in working all the time or just being at home with my boyfriend, which is great. I'm not saying that, being around your boyfriend is not great, but sometimes you need friendships too. And I see so many girls and just people in general who, get into a relationship and then don't talk to or hang out with any of their friends anymore. And I used to be that girl, and I never want to be that girl again because that's very lonely. And so I want you all to understand that a relationship is great, but you also need to have those friendships in your life too. So if you are someone that doesn't really like to do things or put yourself out there or meet new people, do it. I promise you, one day you will be sitting in your room like me and you will start to cry out of nowhere because you miss your friends or you haven't reached out to your friends, and you'll wish that you listened to me. So I know that's very vulnerable and I don't normally share stories like that, but we're human. It's very normal for even people with a bunch of followers on social media to feel lonely sometimes. I've been there, maybe you've been there, and you can relate to me, but understand that you are not the only one that feels that way, and it's very normal. So put yourself out there, you will not regret it. And I hope that this video helps you all find ways to meet new people and make some new friends, because friendships are powerful and I want you all to experience that. So if you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.